Hey, it's Mike. Back on the 68 American today, and it's about time that I get the fuel system wrapped up here so that we can get the rest of the pieces on the top end, and it's kind of a showstopper right now. So first thing I need to do is actually cut a hole. Drill a hole in my nicely painted engine bay. So got a template, and I'm gonna get that marked out and pop on through there. Right, redid the template just a little bit. Wasn't quite happy with the first one. I've done this, like I've done other templates where you print out a image, take some measurements, and rescale, all that jazz. This is going to be approximate. Obviously, the angle of the image impacts a whole lot of stuff, but we're pretty close and close enough. Probably to fool anybody walking by the car. So this is where the fuel feed is going to pass through into the engine compartment, and I'm going to go get a center punch, mark that hole, and then I'm going to put some tape on both sides so that we don't get a bunch of chips scratching everything up. All right, got a center punch on this side, on the outside. Got myself an 1/8 inch drill bit. Gonna do a little bit of a little pilot here from the outside, and then I'm gonna switch over to a step bit and get it hogged out from the inside. Easy peasy. But that bit cuts with a quickness. Yeah, there I go. All right. Ain't got no light in there even. All right, that's getting a little bit hard to see, if I'm telling the truth, with the tape. No, I guess the tape didn't work quite as good as I thought it would. Okay. So the grommets for this application obviously aren't available, but if you're looking around, you can probably spot something that's not for this particular application that might work. And so there's a bunch of PCV grommets. You can get kits with assortments in them, actually. This is a Dorman kit. It comes with a bunch of different unique PCV type grommets, and this one here I think is going to work pretty well for us. But the channel there is slightly smaller than 1 inch. I don't want to get going on that inch step of the bit, waller it out to where the grommet's sloppy. I want it to be a nice fit. If I want to keep this side of the hole cleaner, might as well go this way, huh? Yeah, whatever you do, don't leave your holes raw. You got to paint these things. You got to paint these these bare metal edges. So that's what I'm going to do. Ooh, it's a little close. All right, I don't know how much really going to be able to show in here, but got the grommet situation taken care of up front, and I'm looking for a place to put my fuel filter. And I think the only place that I can put it without making too much trouble for myself is going to be up here in the middle. That is a a pretty stout filter for sure. This is right above the drive shaft and the old bump stop there for the rear end. So if I put it in this area, I think it'll be out of the way. I can route my fuel lines without getting into too much of a mess. So this is where I'm going to put it. I already marked out a couple of spots there for my little brackets that I've got. So I'm going to drill those out and get this thing mounted up, and from there we can start bending some lines maybe. I did put the stupid Alright, that's pretty snug. Pretty firm mount. Alright, that'll do. That will do. Alright. Okay, that's better. Got her flipped around. That'll give me a better shot around the edge there. I like that. Oh, looks like it comes pre-installed with a 3/8 barb. They don't give you a whole lot of thread sticking up there, do they? nut here. Perfect. All right, start working on the fuel line from the pump to the carb here, and I've got a secondary fuel filter that I'm going to put up here. And I'm running a hard line from the pump to the filter, and then I'll do a rubber hose from the filter to the carb. But I think I'm going to use this boss here as a mount for the filter. That would have been the, I think, the spot for the coil bracket, but we're not using that since we got an HEI. So I got the HEI just sat in here just to see where I can route. But I think I'm going to come up here. This fuel pump's pretty chonky, so I think I'm going to route that hard line out this front side here, and just come up and over the water pump up onto this side. Fuel filter will be sitting here, and I think that'll be a good spot. Looked around, couldn't find anything off the shelf that I liked very well, so I designed this piece up and printed this out in a nylon. And what it'll do to serve as kind of a prototype for now, but it's still, you know, quite functional. You can see how rigid that is. And it's going to be quite nice, and at some point if I want to make that out of aluminum or whatever I want to do, I can do that. You know, make a little design change. But as far as getting it positioned and held tight where I want it, I think it's going to work just fine. I'm going to start getting this hard line bent up now, and I'm going to start from the top. This is a AN style fitting here, and I got an AN style at the other side down at the pump. So I'm going to start measuring from here. I think we're going to come down into here somewhere, cut across, straight across here. Try to follow that intake, and pop out down here, make a little zink, 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 and then like a nice big radius down there. Which kind of begs the question now that I see where the steering box goes. I need to make sure that that big loop is not going to get in the way of the steering components. So I guess I better put that stuff on too. All right, I've got to get a quick measurement for angle coming off there. So what I got is kind of a straight-ish piece of tube with an end on it plugged in there. I'm going to use a protractor, put it where I think it ought to be, and we'll get a get an angle to shoot for here. Now I want the end of my tube to come down pretty close to there, and then I want it to be, you know, even with the intake going across. 5, did I do 5 and a, yeah, that's gonna be 5 1/4. Yeah, we got that at 0. It's going to be close right there. Okay. So now this bend, needs to get to 72, I believe. 72, because we were... We need to be at 72. That's this. If I do that, 72 is going to put me, I don't know. I just don't want to go too far, I guess. I guess they're in 15 increments, so I need to stop short. So that'd be 1675, or 60, 75, and 90. So I got to stop short of the mark there. And of course, it's going to bounce back a little bit. Yeah. So let's just take it to 7. Let's just go to the 75. And it should bounce back. And hopefully we didn't go too far. So we're coming off fuel filter, going across in front of the intake, down and around there. This, here we got this in a pretty good spot where it's not going to get hit by our pitman arm. Can't imagine. So I need to get a mark down there because I'm going to have to angle back down towards the fitting, I think. Certainly don't want to go too far on that one. See you on the other side. No. Clamped too low. All right, well. Can I get up higher to... Oh, we're running out of tape. Get out of that way. We got a finished tube here. And I think it came out pretty good. I'm gonna end up wrapping that in a heat sleeve before I snug it up. Now you can see it hangs down a little ways. But I don't suspect it's gonna be too much of a problem. At least I hope not anyway. I think if I had gone any shorter than that, I would have had a lot of trouble getting this fitting lined up and actually making this bend with enough slack left over to actually flare that end. So I'm pretty happy with what I've got here, at least until I'm not. But yeah, I took a little bit of tweaking here down at the bottom end to get that lined up with the fitting. But you know, just take your time on these things. And one of the things that makes a difference is having decent tools, for sure. That, you know, I started with one of those benders that you know, has a 3 different size dies on it, kind of a universal cheap tool. But going to the dedicated 3/8 tool with the rollers and everything was great. Now you can find those used for, you know, pretty reasonable money. I only paid, well, but I paid like 40 bucks for that bender off the eBay. It came in really good shape and it worked really nice. So, you know, look out for them used and get the right bender for the job. Because these bending projects are not hard, but you got to be paying attention, and good tools really do help for these types of projects. So we got a few other things to wrap up here to get it tied up. We got to get the gas tank in. We've got to get still got to flare this end here on how I'm going to do it. I've got an idea. Got an idea what I'm going to do to get the bead on the end of that for the hose to sit in there. We'll get the back end tied in and get the guards, everything secured up. We'll be finished on with the fuel system, and we can get on to bigger and better things. I did a bunch of test tubes. And basically what it comes down to is gonna just do a not gonna bottom out the operation. A little nervous about this, but I guess worst case scenario, I just make another tube, right? Okay, so I gotta go until I hit resistance, and then I got 6 pumps. So there I'm getting some resistance. 1, 3, 4. Nah, that can't be. Oh, there's the resistance. 1, 2, 3. Ah, dude, I messed up. I gotta bottom this stupid tool out. Now I have no idea where I'm at. All right, now. Okay, there's resistance. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Something. Ain't quite right there. 1, 2. Not getting any stroke. I think maybe I want to stop there. Yeah. Got a little gap. There's still, I haven't bottomed it out. Again, I just have to see how it looks. Now, hopefully this is going to come out without taking the entire die set with it. See, that's a problem there. This wrench ain't big enough for that. Don't really want to side load my controls very bad. There it goes. There it goes. So it's unscrewing the whole thing there. There we go. All right. Moment of truth, eh? Beautiful. Beautiful. Tube's a little bit crushed from the from the die. But what I'll do now is I'll take my tube cutter. Where'd that go? And all the tube cutters have a groove that's designed to get you so that you can put that flare in the groove there, and then we can cut that off real close, but not all the way. Now I got a nice little flare there. And hopefully that's going to go through my grommet. I'm going to have to really fight probably getting through there. But should do all right. Let's deburr that and do the same thing on the other side. Yeah, we came out almost perfect. And I wonder if maybe, I wonder here if maybe I ought to cut it off before the bend so that water doesn't get down here and just sit down in here. Because this is hanging down below everything. It's going to have pretty good airflow. I don't think it's going to be in a danger area at all, so let's do that. Let's cut this off here so that it doesn't collect water. Okay. Can I just get a little snip to mark? Sure. Let's snip this other side, so we gotta yeah. Just wanted something to shoot for. There we go. Now, you can open that up. Open that up flat, and I got a little mark there, a little nick there, and I can sit it. Straight across at an angle. Perfect. I think that'll be just fine. Now I'm not certain where the radiator hose is going to come out of here, so I'm probably going to put this clamp pointing down. There's that there. And this one. So let's there. Well, when I started this project, I had it in my head that I needed a 1/2-inch fuel line, which had its own routing challenges for sure. The 1/2 inches, probably way overkill for this, but anyway, we're coming out of our fender well grommet there. Coming down, we got the rock guard protecting the line pretty much all the way back. You see here, I had to massage that dust cover to get that line back in there. Coming out behind brakes, down underneath. Where am I showing you? Here. There, we did a 2-piece line, spliced with some hose in the middle, which, you know, I'm not too upset about. It did certainly ease on the installation a little bit. Get this creeper rolled around here so we can take a little dive underneath. Little dive underneath. Here we go, up and around. Where are we going? All the way over there, huh? All the way over there. We got up and around the there pretty all right. Back into the gas tank. See, I don't know how much we're gonna be able to reach from right here, but you know, do what we can. So you're also gonna notice that there's a whole lot of stuff installed down there that wasn't before, and so we kind of got ourselves into a little bit of a snowball doing this fuel line. And you know, I figured I got to get the gas tank in to route the fuel line to know where I'm going. But if I get the gas tank in, well, I'm gonna have to take it out to do the exhaust, because I'm not gonna be able to get the exhaust in. Well, you know, the parking brake cable is gonna be in the way, or not, you know, not gonna be as easy to put in if I got the exhaust in first. So let's do that. Might as well do the drive shaft while we're down there, you know. So we got going pretty good, and ended up with pretty complete underbody by the end of that, just to get the fuel line routed. So it is what it is. I mean, we're plumbed, and it's good having it done. There's a lot of challenges with this, routing a big old fuel line like that. But you know, if in the future I want to expand or do whatever I want to do, then I don't have to do it again. So I'm satisfied. I'm happy with it, and we're gonna run it. I'll see you next time.